Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And
Hello guys! Today I'm going to show you how I track my reading using Notion. I know it might seem kind of repetitive to have a reading journal and a Notion, but they do serve two different purposes. The Notion is a lot easier to use on the go because they have an app, and I use it for more detailed, in-depth information when it comes to books. I use it to track my daily reading. I use it to write down my thoughts or quotes that I like from books, and that's kind of it. I'm going to show it to you, so I'm not going to say everything, but I use my journal and my Notion hand in hand when it comes to tracking my reading. I'm not a huge fan of Goodreads, so I don't really use Goodreads. I just use my Notion. And everything that I show you, I just created all the pages myself. I don't use a template. I just played around with it and have slowly gotten it to how I like it. But if enough people were interested in the Notion that I use, I could possibly create a template for other people, but it's not really a super detailed Notion. I don't know how everything works. I don't know how to make pages connect to each other and talk to each other, kind of like how Excel does. I don't know how to do that in Notion, so mine's a lot more basic. But anyways, without further ado, let's just get into my Notion and I will show you guys that. Hello again, guys. We are going to get into my Notion now. So this first page is basically my dashboard. This is how I get to everything that I need. So under here, there's a couple categories. We've got 2023 reads, physical TBR, Kindle Unlimited, series tracker, wishlist, pre-orders, and archive. So these are all separate pages. We'll get into that more a little later. Then I've got my reading goal for the year at 35 books, and then I have my current at 32 books. And this little gray box, if you are not familiar with Notion, if you click the /, it'll give you options for what you want to turn something into. So for the grayed out boxes, it is called a call out, and then you can change the emoji and stuff like that. So that's what that is. That's how that looks like that, and I just like it to stand out a little bit. Under here where it says currently reading, this is where I put what I've read for the current month. So I've got a couple categories. So the reading in yellow is what am I currently reading. The done is the books that I've finished. The someday ... is me not wanting to put books in the DNF category. So instead I made this someday category for books that I start that I'm just kind of not feeling and don't want to read it right now, but I might go back to it in the future, so that's why I do someday. But I don't love to say I'm DNFing something because a lot of times I do come back to books later on in the future, so I rarely actually DNF books. But anyways, so these cards all have different information on the inside, so I'm going to use In the Lives of Puppets as an example. I don't think I have any spoilers, so we're going to find out. So if you click on it, it'll give you a half page, but if you want to see it in the full view, you can do that as well. So I've got the title up here. The status is just that little category that it was in. Author, pages, genre, and this is just different genres to choose from, and I like them all to be gray. Platform, we've got physical book, Kindle, audiobook, and I also like to track if it was a book of the month because I I had book of the month for a while and I got really backed up on actually reading those in a good amount of time. So I have a lot of book of the month still to read. I've got the date completed, which just gives it the calendar, and then a rating. I just will type in, you know, whatever the rating is, and it's just like that. And then down here, I'm not going to scroll down a ton, but I will put the date that I am the dates that I'm reading, and I like to do the page numbers. I like to track the pages that I've read per day. And then I also like to put in quotes, so this, if you do the / again, you can scroll down and choose different things. And for quotes, I just do the one that's called quote, and then it looks like that. And then again, this grayed out box is called a call out, and I usually do this for like my thoughts on the book. And then I can just keep adding to that as I go. So all of these little cards have that. And then I'm gonna just do a test one just to show you how it works. At the end of the month, when the month is over, I will transfer all of these books over to this 2023 reads. So I just can grab it and put it in there and it will disappear. And then when you go into the 2023 reads, it will pop up down here and all the categories are the same. So if I filled these out, they would all be filled out. And that's how I do that. But this 2023 reads is all the books I've read so far in 2023. And again, it's the same exact categories that I already showed. Title, author, pages, date, completed, genre, platform, rating, and then the notes section, I'll just put if it's a reread, because when I do rereads, I don't rate them, so I just like to note that. And then if you scroll to the bottom, there's a couple stats that I can see. So this is basically the total amount of books I've read, 29. That's not including this current month. The amount of authors read is like different authors is 24. Total pages is 10,029, and then total types of genres 11. Average rating 3.5, and the amount of rereads I've done so far are 5. So this is just a fun thing to look at to see my progress throughout the year. And then I also will use this to do my yearly stats once the year is over. So moving on from that, next is my physical TBR. I'm going to go to this table view. This is all the books that I own physically right now that are on my shelves. So I like to track the title, author, genre, is it a book of the month, when did I buy it. I just started to add this category because I want to be better about reading older books, and if I do have older books that I just know I'm not going to read, then I can unhaul them. So I'm trying to start putting the dates. I haven't finished yet. Some of them I'm not going to remember the dates, but I'm going to try my best. Then I like to say, is it in a series? And then what book number, what is it? And then notes. For the series, I'll put what the series is called and how many books are currently in the series. So this is like a list of everything. But I created 2 separate views, and a view is basically just a different way to look at the data. So I created a series view so that I can just see series only. And so as you can see, like now everything in here is filled up with like whatever book it is. So I have it organized by series and in alphabetical order. So it's a lot easier to see like, oh, you know, Ruthless Gods Book 2, I already own it, or, you know, How the King of Elflame Learned to Hate Stories, I already own it, so I know like I don't need to buy it again. Or if I go to Barnes & Noble, I can have this open on my app and I can know what I already own, so that's really helpful. And then this is the standalone section, so this series question mark is like fully blank. And again, it's just in alphabetical order, and I can see all the books I own physically. So that is for my physical TBR, and whenever I read a book on this, I'll just click these little 6 dots and then you can just delete it. I don't have it like connected to anything else to automatically delete it. I just have to do it myself, which I'm fine with. And then Kindle Unlimited is the next tab. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't used this in a long time. I haven't read anything on Kindle Unlimited in a little while, but basically pretty simple. Books that are on Kindle Unlimited that I want to read, and books that I've already read, and that's pretty much all it is. So that's it. Next, series tracker. So I just updated this like a couple days ago and then finished it last night. This was one of the pages that I just completely was putting off because I have so many series and it's just a lot of work. So this gallery view is a view of everything, and I put the covers of the first book on most of these, and then you can control what shows up. So what I like to see is the name of the series, the author, the status, like did I read the series, and the genre. But again, I created different views so that I can see data separately and it's easier to see. So for Not Started, these are all the series that I own one of the books or multiple of the books and I haven't started. So there's a lot. And then I'll just click into one. So when you click into it, I've got, again, the author, genre, how many books are in the series, just the cover. That's how I add the picture. Then my progress, and then down here, this is the books in the series. So when I finish a book, I can check it off, and then I would change this to complete. So again, this is helpful if I'm going shopping for books and I want the next book in a series, then I can come in here and say, oh, like what's the next book in this series? Here it is, good to go. And then this is kind of random, but you can also change the font on the page. I usually like to change it to this one, but I don't always do it because it's kind of like a lot of work. So that's all my Not Started series. There's a lot. I've got In Progress, which I am slightly ashamed at how many series I'm currently in progress. Although in my defense, some of them, the next books aren't out yet. Like A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's not. The next books aren't out yet. Same with Crescent City. Same with One Dark Window. Okay, I think that's it. So, this is everything I have in progress. And again, I'll click into one and you can see I've read everything. But in here, I just put in parentheses that it's like an incomplete series, which, why does that say 4? I'm crazy. So again, it looks the same. If you want to change the font, you can change it to that, you can change it to this. And then lastly, or not lastly, next, my complete series. There's not a lot. There might be more that I just don't remember, but up until a few years ago, I didn't really read series books, and when I was filling out this complete series, I was like, wow, I really haven't completed a lot of series. So I don't know what I'm doing there. I need to get better on that. But now lastly is DNF, and oh, that one has a different look to it. Let me change that. So you can make the picture like fit to the screen so you can see the whole thing, but I am going to change it. So you click on these 3 dots, you go to layout, and then card preview. It's already on the cover, but right now it's at fit to image, and I need to swap it to not, and then there it goes. Again, I'm not a super expert on Notion, but I could possibly help beginners. But that is it for this tracker. those are all my series. Next, we'll go to my wish list. This is surprisingly short, but that's because I had a lot of books on my wish list that were from several years ago, and so I pretty much completely deleted my entire wish list and restarted it. So I do have some books I want to add to this, but I just haven't done it yet. This is also something that's helpful to pull up if I go to a bookstore. If I'm looking for a specific book, I can look on here, or if I'm just browsing and I'm like, oh, what's a book I've been wanting? Then I can come in here and title, author, is it a series, and the genre. Pretty much all I need to know if I'm like in a bookstore. So that's it for that one. Next, this is the newest addition to my Notion. I've been pre-ordering a lot of books, and so I wanted some way to track it to where I don't have to go like onto websites and figure out when it might come. So I've got a view of basically pre-orders that are awaiting. They haven't come yet. I've purchased them and that's it. So I have the title of the book or what it is. So, you know, Six of Crows annotated special edition, and then where I bought it from. So those are the two choices right now because those are the only places I've bought from. The date that I ordered it, and then the date it's supposed to ship, and then I have status. So the status choices are I ordered it, it's shipped, or it's arrived. And then I have one tab for arrived. So basically once you change this to arrived, yep, it disappears. So that's nice. So that's good for tracking pre-orders. It's nice to see everything together. And the last tab is archive. This is where I put information from the previous years. So we can click on 2021, and it brings up a similar table to the 2023 table. We got title, author, the month I read it, the pages, the genre, platform, rating, and notes. So pretty similar. This is everything I read in 2021. And again, here at the bottom, you can see some stats. So I read 43 books, 29 different authors, 19,542 pages, 11 different genres, and my average rating was 3.86, and I reread 7 books. So that's just fun to look back on. And then 2022, same thing. And I read 16 books, 14 authors. Oh my gosh, only 6,459 pages. That's kind of crazy. And that's why this is fun to do, because then you can look at the differences between the years and be like, wow, like I read 43 books and then the next year I only read 16. Like, it makes you think like, what happened that year that I only read 16 books, you know? So it's pretty interesting. What did happen? What was this, 2022? I have no idea what happened in 2022 that I only read 16 books. I'll have to think about that. And then last on this page, I made this little table, which is basically an overview from both of these tabs. But that way I don't have to click into them if I don't want to. I can just see the overall stats, and then I can compare years. So as I keep going, you know, eventually 2023 will be here, and then I can keep adding, and it'll just be really fun to look at. But yeah, let's go back to the main page. So that is really it. That was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. Apologies if I was talking really fast or if I didn't go into something in depth. If you're interested in, I don't know, a tutorial of how I use this, or like seeing how I use it in real time, I can do that. If anybody is interested in possibly like a template of this, I could try to figure out how to do that. I don't know how that works, but I will say that this setup for Notion is pretty basic compared to some of the templates that I have seen in other videos. So if you're looking for something where the pages like communicate with each other, and you know, you click one thing and it talks to this page and this page and this page, you probably wouldn't want to do it like how I'm doing it, because I have to do everything separately. Like if I read a book, I can't just like click, you know, put a completed date and the book disappears from my physical TBR. I just have to go and take it off myself. So sometimes if I get behind on updating that part of my Notion, then I have to do it myself. Like I have to like catch up with it later on, which I don't mind, so it's not a big deal to me. But that is my Notion. I especially use it every day for when I'm reading. Like at the end of the day, I'll put the pages I read for the day, or while I'm reading, if something's really funny or there's a quote, or I just want to give an update of my thoughts, then I can just put it in right away, no matter where I am. If I'm at home, if I'm at an appointment and I'm reading, if I'm, I don't even know, wherever. It's really easy to just do it on my phone and not have to, you know, bring my journal everywhere, because I don't want to bring my journal everywhere. And then it's also helpful once I do look over like all the quotes and my thoughts, I can do reviews a little bit easier versus trying to remember like, what did I read, you know? But I have loved using Notion. As you can see, I've been using it for reading since 2021, and it's great. I love it. It's really fun. And especially if you're not a journal person and you just want to use Notion, I also think it's a great way to track your reading versus like using Excel or something. It's a little more fun and versatile, and you can add more personality to it. So yeah. Is this still recording? No way. It just did all that. What was it? Oh, is it? I just freaked myself out so bad. It looked like this wasn't recording because the screen recorder thing was hiding. Oh my god, that scared me so bad. I thought I was gonna have to redo this whole video. Okay, oh my gosh. I'm freaking crazy. Clearly I need to go. This video is long enough. Okay, I wanted to do a proper outro because I didn't realize until the end of the video that I did the outro, but it was still in like the screen sharing mode, so I was just in like this little tiny screen. So now that the crisis of me thinking that my video was not recording is over, I can now end the video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and for those of you that are subscribed, I really appreciate you and the fact that you want to come back to my channel. Thank you so much, and if you guys have any questions about my Notion or want to see more, please let me know. But I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.